What we doing out here, little buddy? Hmm? Well, we're going to see about taking my trolling motor off my canoe, mounting it on the front of this John boat with minimum expense, minimum effort. I got my helper. You need a good boy. Keep an eye on me now, make sure I don't mess nothing up. Alright, so we got a Newport Vessels NV55. This is the most popular trolling motor in the world. Definitely on Amazon. So this distance right here, is going to be critical because we obviously need room for these to screw back down and pin it to that. I'm not sure how these will go up under here, but we're going to go ahead and just do kind of a test fit. Pretty hefty motor. Oh yeah. I think this is going to be very doable. So it's going to land on an angle. Oh, I might not have to take that handle off, guys. I do not have to take that handle off. I think putting that bracket right there up against the hull would be the smartest thing to do. And right there is where it's going to be, but the problem is up here we don't have nothing to tighten it down on, so I need to make a little piece of wood that goes in there to take up that space. Alright, just got a little piece of 1x4 here, pressure treated. So that there. Make that little piece like that. Just kind of round that a little. Kind of keep this as big as possible. So let's just do this right here. Just kind of. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this to the shape I want, clean up the edges a little bit, and I'm going to wrap it with carpet so it matches everything else. And then I'm going to fasten it to the aluminum underneath. Oh, got just enough spray glue left. Wow. It's almost like it was meant to be. Pretty decent. Perfect. Pinch your corners. Bring up the middle. Pinch your corners. Bring it up in the middle. This is how you do anything. If you're doing a car stereo amp board or any kind of plywood covered with carpet, any kind of wood covered with carpet. That's how you do your corners. You use a lot of glue because you want to actually melt the backing of the carpet with the solvent in the glue. And that makes this area right here almost become one. Then you fold it over both ways, like so. Squeeze it good. These corners are critical because you'll be kicking these and stuff, so you want them to almost weld themselves together. And then you push these parts down. There, like that. Down. You want it to be on a 45-degree angle, just like wrapping a Christmas present. Pinch it really good. And then you're just going to take your snips and you're going to cut it. You're not going to do it super tight yet. This is just the pre-cut. Okay, you're going to end up with a little ridge on each of these the first time. Don't get in there real tight on it. Gotta stop the puppy from eating the water bottle lid. Like that. Snip these off. Throw these out. And then you want to go back. Just kind of pinch these together. Make sure these are all pushed down nice and tight. Make sure your face is down tight. Make sure your sides are glued well. Because this is end grain, you want to also, that's another reason to soak it with glue. You don't want to spare on your glue. That's 20 bucks a can. It goes a long way. You'd rather soak it and have to buy another can than you would to have that not stick. Then what I'm doing is, because this isn't really going to be a cosmetic thing on the back, I'm just going to clean up the corners a little, and I'm going to just leave some of these ridges back here because the contact is going to be a little bit more. Just trim them so it lays flat. Just kind of reduce these down till no more than an 1/8 of an inch sticking out. And then you want to take your last little cut on the corners, just to kind of clean them up, make them look nice, like so. Pinch them down. There's a little right there. So this is what you end up with, just a tiny little piece of wood with some carpet on it. Now it'll look nice. Now this piece, I'm going to try to get it up as far as I can so that it supports, you can see, so it actually supports the trolling motor a little bit. Right there, it sits on it instead of it being down lower, just like that. Okay. So we have that mounted. Just kind of get it over so it doesn't interfere. We don't want to ram this thing into the trailer either. So I'm going to pull it all the way to the edge, like so. Boom. Okay, so that's where I want it. So that's why I didn't screw it in, because it might have been off a little bit, or it might have looked a little weird. Let's see what we got going there. This thing, well, not the transom, but right up against the bow. Let's see, this is pretty even. Looks pretty level. Pretty plumb. Okay, now I'm going to tighten it down a little, and we're going to find out if the tilting mechanism is going to work for us. Perfect. Looks good. The handle doesn't hit. It's hanging there by its mechanism. I reckon guess that's as high as it goes. I've never really adjusted it to this level, but it looks just fine to me. I mean, I can even spin it around so it's sticking down. And now I'm going to show you the second thing that we have to deal with this motor. It's a transom mount motor, so obviously this is facing the correct direction, but that is not. That will be pushing us backwards. So we are going to come up here and we're just going to loosen this top control panel and just spin the handle around. And basically that will put that in the proper direction down here. And then that will be sticking right at when you are fishing. It'll be right in your face. All right, here we go. Got a couple stainless bolts with nuts, a couple lock washers. We are going to drill that out. We're going to bolt that sucker right on the front. And then we will have a nice sturdy mount for our trolling motor. Now we can see where our mounts were, so we can make sure we don't drill in the wrong place. Now I'm going to drill this and just mark the metal underneath, then pull this off and flip the drill down on the right angle. I want the doggy stepping on them. Vacuum that out a little bit. Okay, let's round these holes out a bit. Okay. Whoa! Nice drill bits. Sounds like a family from the circus. I wanted this to be as tight as possible, so I didn't use the exact size. Didn't use the exact size drill bit. What are you barking at? Perfect. Down. Timber. Not too bad. How about that? Okay, now we got to spin the top around. Yeah, I hear you down there, little fella. You helping me out? Yeah? Moral support? All right, let's loosen that screw up and spin this thing around here. that screw out. So then basically all we want to do is take this top, break it loose from there, and spin it until the holes line up again, and then just put this screw back in the other way. Put the nut in there. There we go. Gotta make sure you dodge them wires where they go through. Okay, so it is correctly positioned. Keeps it out of these. Definitely don't want to hit in that when you're steering. Okay. Slide this down there. It can't go any lower. And then we'll tighten the shit out of that one. That's the one we don't want sliding down because it'll interfere with our steering. Okay, now we can tighten this. Loosen that. Okay. We got us a trolling motor up front. Goes down into the water far enough. Should easily clear without catching a bunch of air. Got us a little seat. Easily reached. Sit there, reach that easily. Speed control. And I didn't have any fuel hose, but I put these on here just to keep those threads from being exposed, but I'm gonna put a couple pieces of fuel hose on that. Right on here, a couple pieces of fuel hose once I find it. Looks like it will definitely clear the water line. Shouldn't be a problem at all. Keep the top of the prop underwater, especially when someone's sitting up front. We will get to test that next time we go out. Hey, what are you doing in the water, dog? Aw, hey buddy, come here. Come here. You silly puppy. Easy to fish right here. Drive around, steer this thing like that. Don't even need to pull it out. Perfect. Here's a dogfish. Now, let me clean this all up and then we're going to see where the battery's going to go. Hopefully it'll fit up underneath me here somewhere. Alright, just to be safe, these guys let loose. I'm going to get some back up here. Just going to put a couple of stainless screws through the mount. Shut up. Alright. There we go. Double trouble. I don't think that's going to be a problem. As you can see, we can still open the lid. Left about an inch there. So the lid opens just fine. Let's see about putting the battery right there. Oh, it's a big one. Gonna have to measure. Just do a little disassembly too. Alright, had to fiddle around a little bit, but we got that in there. I got padding underneath it. Nice and spongy. Ain't gonna move. And I did this specifically this way without getting underneath or anything so I could pull this battery out. When the boat's sitting here, there's no need to have a lithium battery in it because if this thing decides to take a shit one day, poof, the whole boat goes. I got that box right there I store my batteries in. So yeah, it's removable. The deck has support, the seat has support. Nice and solid. So let's go ahead and get the wiring completed. Alright, I decided I was just going to go ahead and put some of those marine grade connectors on there instead. So I've had these failed in the past, so that's one less place to fail. Just disconnect them since I left the posts up there nice and accessible. And if one of these takes a crap, I can just replace it easy on the water. Because I always bring a little bit of everything out with me out there. These are the best I've found. They don't come from Amazon though. They come from an electrical place. Usually don't use crimp connectors for important stuff like this from Amazon because a lot of times they're crap. But I know these aren't. Super heavy heat shrink on these too. You're not going to heat shrink these with a heat gun unless you want to wait 5 minutes. Easy to do. A couple little pieces of padding to keep it from bouncing around. Go ahead and connect these wires up now that they've cooled down. Get in the hole. That's a good sign. Just connect them loosely for now. In the interest of safety, it's not a big deal to take 5 minutes when you go boating and pop a battery in. It's not that big of an inconvenience. What is an inconvenience? Waking up in the middle of the night to look out and see your boat on fire. Alright. Basically, I can just kind of lay like that. Alright, we got 5 bars. I believe that'll do. How about that? Well, guys, let's drop this thing down and see how it all looks buttoned up. Fit better than I thought it would. Tucked right there. Whoop. Don't want any binding. Extra so when that thing goes in reverse, we'll have room for it. Well, how about that? Not too bad. You'll ever see this Tack Life wet vac on Amazon on sale, get one. It's the best one I've ever had. It is powerful, man. That thing will, well, you know the saying about bumper hitches, stuff like that. Yeah, these motors are pretty awesome. I get about 2 years out of them with heavy use, so I recommend. I'm not a big recommender, but wet vacs and trolling motors I can recommend. You've been really helpful, boy. Yes, you have. You did a good job. All right, so get this thing cleaned out. I don't really need that there, but it just makes me feel good having it. So we got it set up for transport. It's not going to whack into anything. Kind of get all the weight sitting right on the bracket instead of hanging out way out there anywhere else. Seems like a pretty solid little setup. I think it'll work. There we go. Definitely. And you don't get a lot of bumps on the hitch end of your tow vehicle. Most of the bumps come back there in the back by the axle. So we should be just fine. All right, let's take the battery out. All right, we'll stow it one last time. Bada bing, bada boom. I hope it reaches the water after all this work, but if it doesn't, we can work it out. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.